Hi, I'm Vince Thompson, founder, chairman, and CEO of Melt. Today, we're going to review Chapter 3 of my new book, Build Brand New. And by the time you're seeing this, you can order it on Amazon.com. It's a great holiday, Christmas, and stocking stuffer for your fellow college student, your colleagues, and your peers during this COVID-19 employment search. And the reason I built Brand New is to help you in that search. So what are we going to cover today in Chapter 3? You are your brand. So let me tell you the good news about where you are in your life cycle and your life journey. You are the most sophisticated consumer that's ever existed. You're what we call a digital native. You possess all of this information in the palm of your hand. In the old days, I had to go to the library and look up the Yellow Pages or the encyclopedia for resource information. I'm sure your parents will get a chuckle out of that because it's true. But now, you're driving change, you're driving trends, and you have unlimited access to resources and knowledge. What do I mean by that? You have the ability to find me on LinkedIn. You have the ability, you are driving behavior in this COVID period, whether it's direct to consumer, at home shopping, home delivery of meals, home delivery of groceries, buying a car online. You're driving all of that and the adaptation of all of us. So while you're thinking about your brand, think about all of these things that you already know that can help bring value to a potential employer, and how you're going to position and christen yourself as a brand as you're promoting yourself in this new world order. So I also say step back and think about the brands that you use every day. Think about the brands that you admire. Think about the people who are brands that you admire. Is it Tim Cook of Apple? Is it Condoleezza Rice? Is it LeBron James? No matter who it is, sort of step back from yourself. Think about the attributes of the brands that you like. Think about the attributes of the brands of the people that you like and you follow. What do they stand for? And then begin describing yourself. What do you stand for? Ask others, your peers, your colleagues, the things that they think that you stand for. And then that's how you begin building your brand and your platform and the positioning of yourself. And you have the ability and the means and the tools to go do that. At Auburn, I was always sort of known as a hustler. I worked hard. I basically worked at the sports information department. I was an editor at the Auburn Plainsman. And within my fraternity, I was head of all of our communications. So I was always hustling and always working. I was on the student government. I don't think I was on the cabinet, but I was always involved in the student government. And obviously all the sporting events at Auburn, I was there at all of them. Working and producing those events. And so I was sort of building my brand, and I got christened by Vinny Inc., as Vinny Incorporated, Vinny Inc., by Ron Anders, the head cheerleader, one of my fraternity brothers, Fiji, who's now the very successful mayor of Auburn, and owned the bookstore for many, many years. And I loved that nickname because I thought it sort of personified who I was. I was on the hustle. I was in the game. I was being relentless. So this book, and in Chapter 3, we're going to talk about the building blocks and foundation of building Brand You. What does that mean? Your values and your value system, your reputation equals your brand. So sort of step back and talk and think about the way you live, the way you comport yourself, the way you position yourself on social media, the way you think others perceive you. And maybe sometimes ask your professors and your mentors and your classmates and your friends on campus, hey, what's my reputation? And whether it's good or bad, you want to hear it, because your value system and your reputation is going to equal your brand and how you position that brand in all of these various outlets. And as we talked about, it's very invaluable to get that experience on college. We're going to talk about this even more, but the college campus is the ultimate professional lab. You're beginning to build these seeds and foundations of this network. what I did at Auburn, Paul Feinbaum and Dick Vitale and all these many, many more that I still in relationships with 40 years. Build that portfolio. I came out with tremendous experience, and it didn't matter what I did or what you do, but you're showing that initiative, you're showing that drive, you're building a great resume, you're padding that resume, you're padding that LinkedIn page, because you got to do all of these things to stand out above the crowd in this entry-level job market, which is going to be tough. It's always been tough, but it's really going to be tough going forward. I use a fishing analogy. I used to say 100 casts for 8 bites for 2 really hard job leads or interviews. Make that number 500 now, because you're going to have such intensity for competition from people who are unemployed, out of the workforce, willing to take a lesser job for a lesser salary. That's your competition, but you can do it because you've built this great platform, you've built this great plan, you've built this great experience, and you have the ability and the knowledge and the sophistication to put it out there. And it's all about a process. It's all about an audition. It's not a job application. And you're focused on the outcome, which is winning that job. Let's talk about the grandma test. And I get a lot of chuckles when I present this to classes that we're teaching across the country. What does it mean? If you don't want your grandma to see it, don't post it. The first thing we're going to do as employers is we're going to go look at your social media platform and profile. But let me tell you what we're looking for. We're looking for the judgment that you're using in your behavior and your judgment you're using to post about your behavior. Okay? I don't mind you expressing yourself. Neither do a lot of other employers. I don't mind you being authentic. I don't mind you positioning yourself out there. And goodness knows I don't mind you having fun. Because thank goodness social media and Facebook were not around when I was a student at Auburn, because I had plenty of fun. But let me write this down for you, and you need to write this down. The first thing employers are going to do is check your social media platforms. We're looking for judgment. If we're going to make that investment in you, we're looking for the type of judgment and value systems that you're going to have, back to your reputation and your brand, that you would have as an employee of our organization. And these are things I want you to think about and ponder as you continue to read this book and share this video with other people. So as we wrap chapter 3, outwork, relentless, be Vinny Inc. You're not going to have an option to job hop, which is great. You might have to stay in your place. Get you some thank you notes. Write people some nice cards. It all is a part of your brand. Your values, your reputation equals your brand. Campus is the greatest professional lab ever. Gain that experience. Build that LinkedIn page. Use that to network and make those emotional connections. We're going to talk about later on in our book and other chapters the inverted pyramid process for resume. We talked about passing the grandma test today. Mention that to your parents and see what they say about it. In a later chapter, bringing the heat in a virtual interview environment, how you interview the interviewer, and search for those emotional cues to make that connection. And pursuing your passion. I've done it for many, many years, 40 years, and I still do it. And then we'll talk about those other little intangible tricks of the trade and leveraging an emotional low-hanging fruit. So hope you enjoyed chapter 3. Get ready for chapter 4 of Build Brand You.